You can use environments in every stage of your development process with Bunnyshell. Common use cases include remote development, on-demand environments for testing and getting feedback, automatic preview environments, and end-to-end testing environments. Let's take each and see how you would use them in Bunnyshell. First, remote development environments. These are commonly used for performing remote development. I'm not going to get deep into the topic as we have a separate video describing all this process, but what you need to do in order to activate the remote development session is to run a simple command in your CLI. Obviously you need to have the CLI installed and authenticated, but this is a really trivial process. So you would just copy this command and run it directly in your terminal on your local machine. For this component, it will allow you to either synchronize the files from your local machine into the container or edit the files directly into the container running in Kubernetes. So the code is ran directly in the cloud along with all the needed dependencies, real dependencies, not simulated ones. Other very useful tools for the development case are the ability to perform SSH into a container of a given component, and again you can select the component you desire and then SSH into it. This is really useful for you fetching fetching the logs, running commands to check something, seeing the processes, checking connectivity, and so on. And another useful thing is port forwarding, which allows you to open ports from your local machine to the container, and this allows you to use debuggers. This allows you to connect to databases and services which you obviously don't want to have publicly exposed in order to better understand what's happening and troubleshoot issues. So the second major case is the one of on-demand environments. You can create environments as you like in Bunnyshell. You can define them from scratch, but this is not probably the most common scenario. What you would probably do very often is to clone an environment. I'm gonna name this demo books clone. And right now I have another environment which is in a draft state. I still need to deploy it, but it looks like the previous environment. It looks just like the previous environment, same components, same settings, same everything. I'm gonna deploy it, and right now a pipeline has been started for this environment and it will get deployed. The second one is to use templates, and how you would use this is probably you would have some custom templates of your own for your own projects. You can also use Bunnyshell templates, but probably for serious projects you would need to customize those templates for your needs. You have template sources. In this case I have a single template source called Project Neo Templates, but you can have more than one. And inside this template source I can have multiple templates. One real common use case that we see a lot is teams having both staging and development templates, because they are different in nature. For development templates, you would want to have debugging tools, libraries, caching to be disabled. You would want ports to be exposed and so on. While for the staging templates, you would want to have production templates, basically with applications being built, not necessarily running the source code directly. And obviously this depends on the technology you're using. You would want the caching to be enabled. You would want the image size to be as small as possible, so no additional development tooling, etc. So back to our use case. Let's say I want to create a stage from this template. I will call it demo books stage, as this is also based on demo books, selecting a project to be creating the environment in, and now I have yet another environment, and I can also see that this was created from the staging template, and I'm taken to it upon clicking that that icon. So again, I need to deploy this this environment. I also need to select the cluster. In the previous example, when I cloned the environment, it already had in its settings a cluster, so that's why it didn't ask me for one. So these are the two cases, very common cases in which you would use on-demand environments, templates, and cloning other environments. Okay, the third common use case is to have automatic preview environments, and you would do this typically upon creating a pull request. So what you would need to do in Bunnyshell is to go into settings for ephemeral environments, and here have this on if you want to have environments created when a pull request is open for this environment. Basically what happens is that if you create a pull request which has the target of an application branch which is deployed in this environment, you would have an ephemeral environment spun up out of this environment, and I'll explain this in a bit. You can choose whether or not you want to have this new environment automatically deployed, and there are some cases in which you don't, like if you have pretty high pickup times for code reviews, then you wouldn't want to consume resources for nothing until a colleague can actually use that environment. So you would keep this to off and then manually deploy the environment when you would need it. If you want to have it automatically deployed, you also need to select the cluster on which you wish to deploy it. And also, whenever the pull request disappears, let's say, either being merged or closed, you have the option to destroy the environment which was created via this mechanism. And what I said I would explain is the targeting of the branch. So basically, let's say I open a pull request for the backend component from the dev branch into the master branch, which is already deployed here. In this case, I would have an ephemeral spin up. In case I would open a pull request from the dev branch into the stage branch of backend, then this rule wouldn't apply and no environment would be created. Basically, an ephemeral environment is created to give you the context of your future version of the application, right? And it can be used in code reviews, it can be used in previews, it can be used in gathering feedback from product teams, from stakeholders, and later on in testing as well. Basically, these are the same use cases for on-demand environments, except the environment is created automatically. So the last use case, the last major use case I mentioned was end-to-end testing. And this can be integrated into your existing pipeline using either the existing CLI that we have or the Docker image that we provide. You can create environments out of templates or out of other environments through cloning and then have them deployed. After this, your test suite will run on a live environment, and once the test suite finishes, you can destroy the environment to free up the resources. So it's really an on-demand approach to end-to-end testing. This is it in terms of high-level usage. In Bunnyshell, just to recap, You have development environments to perform remote development on with real dependencies. You have on-demand environments for manual testing or automated testing, plus UAT and gathering feedback. You have automatic preview environments for the same use case as on-demand environments, except these are created and destroyed automatically. And you have end-to-end testing in your pipeline using either the CLI or the Docker image to create environments, deploy them, and ultimately destroy them after the test suite finishes. One other important thing to mention here is the availability rules, which allow you to have scheduled times for your environments to start and then for them to stop, therefore allowing you to be mindful on the resources that you're consuming and allow you to reduce costs. Environments can also be manually stopped or started, so a pipeline is also generated for this, by the way. So you have full control on your environments and how they interact with the development system and the methodology you use.